What's up? Welcome to Wine School. I'm Mike, and I got special guests with me today. I got Ann and Gretchen. What's up, ladies? And we are in, you're never going to believe this, we're in Nevada, and we're about to try some Nevada wine from the Pahrump Winery. I'm so excited about this. I will admit I know nothing about Nevada wine, and so I'm really curious to see what's going on out here. Gretchen is the winemaker here at Pahrump Winery. And so just tell us what you guys are doing out here. I'm excited to learn.
Absolutely, and you are so normal. We get people that have lived in Las Vegas for 30 years that have no idea where happened and have no idea what we're doing with wine in Nevada. So the winery's been out here for 25 years.
25 years.
This month. So
wow, big month then.
Big month. It's our what do you call that? The quarter anniversary.
Yeah, what is
silver? Is it silver? Is it silver?
I don't know. It's a big one though.
Right.
So been out here for 25 years. It's kind of an odd place to put winery, out in the middle of the desert. Kind of our most common question when people walk in the door is, why are you out here?
But I could see some reasons to put it in the desert, make the vines struggle, make them try to find water. So I kind of get that. I might say why this desert, but I assume there was some thought that went into this.
Absolutely. People in the desert, as you guys have in many states, you like to go to country. To visit the winery. So you like to travel, you like to have the vineyard there, you like to have the winery there. So they looked at, okay, let's get close enough to Vegas so that it's a nice little day trip. Close enough to Death Valley. And then they looked at where we are specifically, right here on the alluvial fan, so the soil is good. So you can make them stress a little.
Was that's from the big flood that came down 50 million years ago or whatever? So what is the soil there?
The soil is actually nice, sandy, loamy soil. So it's fine for growing food. It's got great drainage.
No phylloxera?
No, it won't survive.
So you don't have to worry about grafting vines or anything?
No. We did buy grafted vines, but we could have planted on our own rootstock. So you don't have to worry about phylloxera. There's no humidity. You don't have to worry about molds and mildews.
No rot,
No rot. Nematodes can't grow on our soil, so you don't have any of those. We actually have a little more control in the growing environment than other places because we don't have weather. We have hot.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But I would think sunburn might be an issue, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to do a lot of canopy management stuff. You're trimming, managing the leaves.
Absolutely. And basically, we have kind of three principles we live by. Number one, pick the grape that loves the sunshine. Okay. We're not going to grow Pinot Noir out here. Right?
Okay.
Number two, we do closely monitor water. Good year, we get 3 inches of rain. So we do monitor the water and we do irrigate.
Okay.
And then the third is exactly what you said, canopy manage. Our rows are planted 5 feet apart. The vines are 5 feet apart. So that way we get great shade from row to row to row. And then we let our canopy get very thick and almost jungly with just a little bit of leaf pulling right at the cluster. So that way we do get the shade and we don't get the sunburn.
And are you trimming the grapes back too?
Absolutely.
Some green harvest and
Absolutely.
a few bunches, but huge canopy.
Yep.
I would imagine that's got to concentrate the grapes that are left really well too, right?
It does. It absolutely does. And it actually makes kind of harvest time a bit of a challenge because you're monitoring, and you're going, oh, I think it'll be, next week based on kind of the Brooks development, the pH development, the acidity development each day.
But it snows up here. Like we were driving in, there was like snow and stuff. Do you have to worry about the late harvest because of the snow coming in?
Not really. Here's the situation. Down here on the valley floor, we will typically get 1 snow a year, but it's a really light dusting and it's gone after 20 minutes. But I am just now, this week, first week of March, doing my final prune in case we were to get a late frost. It wouldn't kill my buds. So, yes, we're very cognizant of the weather, but it hasn't been a thing we've had to deal with.
So you're just watching bricks, and it's when you think it's ready to go, you pick it.
And then obviously taste, chewing on those seeds, getting the tan over the skins and all that good stuff.
And so what is growing here?
Okay, here in the south, we are growing on property. Is anything down in Syrah? And we have about 1.5 acres planted on property. Okay, there's another little vineyard about 30 minutes away, 2 acres, and they're growing Cab, Merlot, Ruby Cab, Syrah, and Zin. And then the biggest vineyard in southern Nevada.
This is the 5 acre.
5 acres, that's right. Impressive, huh?
Yeah.
That's about an hour away, and they're growing Primitivo, Tempranillo, Barbera, Syrah, Cinsault, and Mourvèdre.
Wow.
So,
And are you guys getting all the grapes from all those vineyards then?
Yeah.
And I would imagine with green harvesting, you're not getting huge yields out of this. So how many cases can you produce out of all that?
This year, with the 2013 stuff that we're about to start bottling from the Nevada, we're going to get about 1,700 cases from grapes grown here in
From
Nevada.
the 10 acres-ish?
Yes, from the 10 acres-ish.
So 170 cases an acre, give or take. And then are you just blending everything, or are you trying to do some single varietal bottlings? Or?
Trying to do single varietals. Right now we're doing a single varietal on the Primo, the Temp, the Syrah, the Zen, the Barbera. And then we have a lovely little red blend called Silver State Red. And it's just a hodgepodge. So
just whatever's left over.
Whatever's left over. Someone's taking a little this, a little that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And in the past we did the Cinsault one year as a rosé. So made a little rosé out of that because we just couldn't get the color and everything we wanted to out of it. But so mainly single varietal.
And then you process everything here, bottle everything here, age everything here. And anything special with how you're actually making the wine?
The thing we have to be really concerned about is because we're in this desert in the heat, the pH is going to spike. Yeah. So closely monitor pH. And
I like a little acid in my red wine.
I do too. And it makes it age so much better.
Yeah,
it
it's
balances
age-worthy,
it
sure,
out.
absolutely.
So
It's not a terrible thing.
it's not. We just have to kind of keep it in balance is what we have to watch. The other thing we do have to watch is the titratable acidity, because since we don't have that diuretic, we don't closely cool off at night, we do tend to lose a little of the acid on that side of the winemaking equation.
I actually would think it would cool off. Is it the valley traps heat or something?
Somewhat. And we cool off a little bit, but when you go from 100 to 80, it's not quite the cooling effect you really want.
Right.
So it does cool off, but
Right.
so on the winemaking end, I'll have to adjust acid too. But it's actually kind of a win-win then, because when I adjust my acid, then that also brings my pH down.
Sure.
So
and mostly stainless, mostly wood.
Our fermentations, all this Nevada red stuff, because the yields we're harvesting are so small. Everything's small batch, 1 ton, open top fermentation.
It would have to be, right? Yeah.
Manual punch downs. Everything's done by hand. So come during fermentation season, we've got a couple dozen of the 1 ton.
Are you picking everything at the same time though? Like, I would imagine that's a nightmare. You're picking 2 rows and then coming back 2 weeks later and getting another 2 rows.
It is a nightmare. And depending on kind of how the season plays out, there have been years where we have had to pick all of that within like a 10-day period.
Wow.
Because the heat was so intense, everything got ready at once. So
then you're punching everything down because everything's fermenting at the same time, and the whole shop floor is just jam-packed with open top fermenters.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's not the goal is to sort of stage it out.
To stage it out. Ideally, if we can get it to spread out over 3 weeks, we're delighted.
That's awesome.
So,
and then so we do it in open top fermenters and then age it in barrel.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
French or American?
Some of both. We use some French, some American, some Hungarian. We use some hybrid barrels too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the fun thing with what we've done, 2005 was the first year a commercial red wine was ever produced in Nevada. Wow.
Really?
Okay.
So
2005.
10 years. 10 years ago.
10
Nothing.
years ago.
It's crazy.
And it is crazy. And that was from our little pitiful vineyard out here on the front lawn. So that was our Nevada Ridge Zinfandel.
Awesome.
2010 was the first year that we produced the Primitivo, the Tempranillo, the Barbera, those other reds. So we've spent, these past few years really playing around with oak, with yeast. What's going to give us the best?
Are you inoculating or is it wild yeast?
I'm inoculating.
You got too many different varieties in multiple spots to just leave it up to chance, I would imagine. But still, it sounds like you're almost on the forefront of who knows where this is going to go. But you're really trying and experimenting and figuring out what works. And I'm excited to drink some of this stuff. So what are we gonna have today? What are we gonna enjoy?
Okay, let's do Nevada stuff. So let's try. Why don't we start with a little That Silver State Red blend.
This is the blend?
This is
Okay.
the blend.
Okay.
So like I said, hodgepodge of everything. It's got Cab, Merlot, Ruby Cab. This one actually has a little Tempranillo, a little Mourvèdre, a little Syrah, and a
I
little
bet
Barbera.
the Tempranillo, I would think, is because the temperature here has got to be so similar to Rioja, Riviera del Duero, right?
Absolutely.
You know, it's 100 in the day and 80 at night. I would imagine
Yes.
Tempranillo's, it's perfect,
The
right?
Tempranillo is beautifully out here. And I love Tempranillo too because the grape tastes like the wine.
Right.
It's the wine when you're walking the vineyard, you know, it's dusty, it's bitter, it's all those things that Tempranillo is too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Love me a good Rioja.
mhm.
My goodness. Okay, wow, this has got a really interesting nose on it. I'm really in that blackberry camp with this.
Yeah, lots of nice bright fruit.
Yeah.
And we definitely do get the bright fruit here because of the heat.
Yeah.
It just really accentuates
Sure.
the fruit that's coming out of the grapes.
Oh, it's definitely, it's a fruit bomb for sure. I almost feel like there's a little RS on it too. Is it completely dry or is
There's about a 0.2 left.
There's
in
a
it.
little touch in there? Yeah,
Just a
it's
little touch.
It just, it's not enough to make the wine, you know, off dry, but there is just a hint of that.
Absolutely.
That's sweet. It's and it goes well, I think, with the blackberry kind of currant jammy component of the wine. It's a nice little
Yeah.
wine. 13-ish, 13.5 on the alcohol, maybe 14. Awesome.
And that's one of the things we do challenge with is getting those grapes picked before the grapes gets too hot.
Sure.
Because the sun, you know, they can change in a day.
Oh yeah,
And,
I'm sure. So that decision of when to pick. Now, how do you guys divvy up the responsibilities? Are you in charge of picking too?
Absolutely.
Oh, so you have the growing and the making. It's all you.
Not all.
But I mean, it's
And basically what we'll do is when it comes time to decide, okay, how are we going to finalize this wine? I'll spend a couple days in the lab, you know, playing around with, okay, am I going to leave it, you know, 95% Tempranillo, 5% something else,
Right.
all that stuff. I'll go through several rounds, bring it down, and then that's when my husband and I look at it too, because we own the business together.
Okay.
And, you know, he'll give some input, and then I'll take it, I'll put it in the tasting room. And anybody who walks in the door,
Hey, what do you think? What do you think?
Exactly, especially since
Sure.
so many of these are first for the whole state.
Right.
yeah.
So I've got a wonderful kind of test market.
Test lab out there.
Yeah, test lab out there, and definitely get some.
Well, I was surprised because I feel like we see a lot of the husband-wife teams, and usually like one has the grapes and one has the making. You know, who does which? You know, it switches around. But
Right.
a lot of times you see that. In this case, it's all you. I think that's awesome. You know but a lot of work, right?
It is a lot of work, yeah.
Because if you're in charge of one or the other, you get half the year off, right?
Yeah. No.
You're in charge of both.
No.
And this room that we're in is wonderful. These are all the medals that the wineries has won over the years.
Since 2004, we've had about 350 National Wine Awards. Now, here's the deal. These babies right here are our favorites. That's what's a favorite child that we do.
The ones with the gold.
Yeah, with the gold.
The wax tip.
Yeah, that's that one I was telling you about. The state of Nevada's first ever commercially produced red wine.
Oh,
we
this
still
is
see
so
the
fun. Oh, you
bottles,
still have
that's
some.
fine.
Oh, cool.
What? No, these are fake.
I was like, what's left in those? It's been sitting in the bottle for 10 years. Probably
It's
great.
colored water.
Yeah.
No. Not putting those up here. But here's the kind of fascinating thing about red wine. We, you know, made it and went, okay, you know, we're partial to it, obviously, because we did the toiling and just had the love of it.
Oh, absolutely.
So we were very partial to it. And so I said to my husband, I said, well, I'm going to enter into some of the competitions and see what happens. And he's like, oh, don't do that. You're just setting yourself up for disappointment. You're going to be so sad when nothing happens. So I did. I entered it into 8 competitions. It won medals at 7 of them. It won a gold medal
Look
at
at
the
you.
Long Beach Grand Prix.
That's awesome. And
So-
Finger Lakes too. Like you know, that's a decent.
The National Orange Show. I'm in TW Tasters Guild.
Yeah.
Monterey.
Wow,
So, yeah.
fantastic.
Well done.
So,
Awesome.
yeah. So it just proves you
Yeah.
can. And you guys see that from everywhere you go, that you can do it anywhere.
Absolutely.
Not everyone does it well anywhere.
That's good point.
That is the challenge. There's
Good
a dump,
point. There's a
dumper
dumper.
for you if you want, sweetie pie.
Thanks.
Okay, you want to try a little Nevada Syrah?
Syrah.
Okay. this is really an interesting. Well, actually, I'm going to let you guys taste it. Tell me what you get off of it, and then I'll tell you a little story to go with it. Because it's kind of interesting.
That's a dark wine.
Yeah.
There's some extraction there for sure.
Yeah. And that's one of the things we've had to kind of play with the canopy management.
Yeah, trying to really figure out how to balance that out, I'm sure.
How much cold soak to do so that we can maximize extraction, because the color tends to want to be a little light.
I almost get like a mint
Yes.
eucalyptus
That's
on
exactly
it.
what
It's
I
like
was
a mint
thinking.
eucalyptus.
You guys are good. Okay. 'Cause here's-
Wow, that's really unique for a Syrah. I guess you get that sometimes in the Aussie Shirazes, but...
Here's why. That vineyard is planted under eucalyptus trees out there.
Oh, no kidding.
So you get the oil. You guys are good.
You know, thank God I got it right. Being on camera, I've been embarrassing you. I've missed it. I get bubble gum and no, that's amazing. It's just under the eucalyptus. I mean, it jumps out of the glass at you. It's
So you get the oil that drips on it, and you definitely get that
That's
presence
crazy.
in the wine. So, and it's a fun wine for people to taste and to listen to them talk about, because so many folks have never had anything like that, and they're like, this is weird. This is different. You know, what is this here that I'm tasting? So
yeah. I'm trying to think if I was blind tasting this, what I would call this. I don't know. I think I might end up in Australia just because of the eucalyptus. But
and it too is nice and fruity, like a lot of the Australian wines.
yeah, this is really unique. A unique Syrah. Well done on this. This is
Thank you. This is our
very
second
interesting.
vintage.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
neat. How many cases of this did you guys make?
This one we made about 150. First vintage on it, we made 70. That was it. 70.
I like this.
I almost feel like I'm drinking this a bit early. I think this could lay down for a fair bit of time and still
Absolutely.
be okay.
And that's the other thing, we're still experimenting with our Nevada wine.
Yeah, because you don't really know.
We don't know.
What's it going to be in 10 years?
Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah. I have, since 2005, I've saved at least one of every vintage of the Zins. And so periodically I'll open up and see, kind of what the age was.
How it's developing?
Yeah.
What's it doing?
You know what, we're figuring, thus far at about the 7-year mark is kind of the peak.
So
on
that's the
it.
sweet spot?
That's the sweet spot on the Zin. But like I said, with these 2010s, the first vintage on so many of these that I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
So,
I really like
This is
yeah.
really,
That's fun wine.
really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
it is
right.
fun.
Yeah.
I know, but you-
Nevada Ridge Syrah.
That are a little unique.
Check that out.
Yeah, little unique and different. Just not everything else.
I'm not going to dump on this one. I'm going to go ahead and finish the glass if that's okay, Gretchen.
Of course. Plus you've got your driver. So you,
I can
you
indeed.
got your chauffeur. Life is good.
Life is good.
Oh.
All right. On to the last. What's the last
Okay.
one here?
Well-
Hopefully there's a cool story with this one too.
You tell me, do we want Barbera, Tempranillo?
Oh, that's a tough call. I am a huge fan of Piedmont.
Okay.
So let's do the
We'll go
Barbera.
Barbera?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe we could try Nebbiolo.
Oh, you
Okay.
know what? There isn't any grow down here, but man, that
Yeah.
would grow well
Right?
here too.
It'd be an interesting.
Absolutely.
That's a bit of an ornery grape to grow, but man, if it worked here, how great it would be. I know some of the Arizona guys are starting to plant some Nebbiolo and experiment with the high desert Nebbiolo down there. I know Caduceus just came out with a 2012 Nebbiolo. I actually have a bottle of it, and I haven't opened it because I feel like it probably needs to sit a bit. And we were talking with the winemaker a couple weeks ago, and he was like, no, don't sit it. Like, it'll drink today. So I just haven't got around to opening it yet. But yeah, it'd be interesting if we could start doing something with that. And here in the States. All right, so Barbera.
Barbera. This is actually your drinking oral history. This is the state of Nevada's first ever Barbera.
Wow.
So
My
2011 vintage. So
Very different than the Syrah.
very different. Very, very different.
Yeah, almost the fruit on it's a little bit more muted, and I feel like I haven't tasted it yet, but I feel like the acid on it's a little more prominent, a little more balanced maybe, not as heavy on the fruit. So I taste it,
Yeah.
and then I get the
Does
fruit.
make a difference.
Yeah, that's just-
absolutely. And that's what's fun about it too.
Right.
The smell doesn't always match the
It
taste.
does
It's
always
nice.
match. Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself there. It's very cherry. Really lot of bright cherry on this. Really a neat little wine.
I think for me, I get a little more almost European influence.
Yeah.
Just because there is a little more of an earthiness on this one.
Yeah.
Than the other.
But it's a little more kind of that balanced, more elegant style as opposed to that. Here's America.
Yeah.
Here's some fruit and some alcohol.
Right.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Which nothing wrong with that. That's okay too.
That's right.
But this is quite nice as well. I gotta say, I think this might be my favorite of the three. I think it might be.
Okay.
You know that the Syrah was really interesting with that eucalyptus flavor, but this is just a nice,
Yeah, this is.
sweet little balanced wine.
Yeah.
What are the price points on this?
The Barbera is let's find out. Okay, the Syrah is the most expensive at $29.95. The Barbera, I believe, is $21.95 or $19.95.
Okay, but in that sort of $20 to $30 a bottle.
Yeah, yeah. And all of our Nevada stuff is $20 to $30.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I think the Syrah is still my
The
favorite.
Syrah still
It is. Yes.
Well, you guys are doing really interesting stuff here. I gotta say, I will be the first one to admit I had some low expectations driving out to the middle of the desert out of Vegas to go to a winery, but it's truly a top-notch place. You guys are doing some really interesting stuff with the wine, so congratulations, well done.
Congrats.
That is the Pahrump Winery from Nevada. No AVA yet, but maybe someday.
Maybe someday, yeah.
And so that's it. As always, we're going out with 30 seconds of craziness, so enjoy. Cheers, guys.